Welcome back, everybody, to another exciting episode of Zinespiration. Today we are chatting with the amazing Weirdo Brigade, all about zines, zines or interviews, zine culture, and the like. So welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. Tell us a little bit about how you got into zines. Where did you first discover zines?
Okay, let's see. So the first time I came across the scene was I think in like 2018. Um, my boyfriend was working at Macy's at the time, and he met a guy there who was like a janitor, and he used to make zines as well. They were like black and white, kind of like punk style zines. They were very like choppy and like messy and stuff, and I thought it was really cool. So when I saw that, I was like, I really want to make a zine now. And then the second time that I came across a zine was through a friend of a friend. She was also making zines at the time, and I just liked the way that it looked. It was very like, I don't give a fuck. This is like my thing, and I just like I'm gonna do whatever the hell I want with it. So it was kind of like made by two people. So the first side, it was like her side. It basically, this is my zine, but it was like this. It was her cover. It was like a picture of something, and then like when you open it, it just had like a ton of pictures, like her photography. And then when you flip it around, it was like her friend's part of it. So he had like a cool picture on the back. And then when you open it, it was just like a story that he wrote and a really nice picture. So I thought that was really cool. Yeah, and then the Weirdo Brigade was actually born in 2018. That's something that me and my friends created together. It was my last year of college. I was in college for a very, very, very long time because I have like really bad anxiety. So a lot of the times when we had to like do like group presentations or just like presentations, I would get really, really nervous. Like I would go to class and as soon as I knew it was going to be my turn soon, I would just walk out or I would just not show up. So I failed a lot of classes because of that. But in 2018, I kind of started to sort of get past that. And I was all like, all right, I need to seriously like move forward and graduate college. So I think making scenes kind of like helped me through that, through like my anxiety. It was a point where I was all like, ugh, fuck everything. Like I'm just so tired of like just being so scared all the time and like nervous and then like just complaining about like wanting to do certain things and never actually doing it. So then we were like, man, let's just like make scenes. And that's how it started. Weirdo Brigade.
It's interesting because, like, I hear that a lot from the zines that I talk to and creators that I talk to, that making a zine helps them to like overcome or get through something that they're going through. And it seems to be like a really like unified feeling for zine creators. So it's always interesting to hear the story that brings that out. But I'm really curious where the name Weirdo Brigade came from.
I honestly don't remember. I remember it was night. It was probably like maybe 3 o'clock in the morning, and at that point, I was just like barely sleeping. And I was listening to music, and that's when me and my friends were like, okay, let's make a zine. And like I stopped talking to everybody for like that second, and I was just like pacing around in my room, like talking to myself, like very excited because I was like, oh my god, we're gonna make something. It's gonna be cool. It's gonna be awesome. And I was just like, we're all kind of weird, and we're kind of a brigade, so Weirdo Brigade. It just came out of nowhere. I don't know. It just happened.
So, what are you currently working on? What is some of your main focuses now?
So I kind of stopped working. I think the last one that I made was in I think yeah in 2018. That was the last one that I made. It was this one. It was about misanthropy, and it's just like a ton of like poems.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and some art. My friend did this little comic for it. And yeah, that was the last one that we made. And then I kind of moved to China for a little bit, and I just stopped working on it all completely. And then I came back recently, and I think in April, someone on Instagram, a zinester, he like created a stay-at-home zine fest, and I started just like obsessively making a zine like every day. Like every day I was just like making something. I don't know what the heck happened. I was just like creating every day. So this is one of them. This is like a little mini zine, and it's just cut-ups from a magazine, and it's a little really terrible poem that I wrote on my journal, and I decided that I wanted to just do that. I mean, I like them though because they're all, different. This one's very like simple.
Yeah.
Just me.
And also, Weirdo Brigade. I can't pronounce. You also do interviews with zinesters as well, don't you?
Yeah, I did for my blog, my Weirdo Brigade blog. I was obsessively looking stuff up on the internet, and I felt like I didn't really find enough stuff about zines on there. So I figured I'd create a blog where I just get like people who actually create zines to come on and just talk about like their experiences, like how they got started, why they make zines, what inspires them to create zines, and also talk about like their process. So I just felt like it would be like a good place for people to just go and like learn and to realize that, making zines it's fun and you can do whatever you want with it. It's your creation. So yeah, you don't have to like go all crazy and like, like, oh my God, it has to be so good and like blah, blah, blah. It's just, you have fun with it. It's yours. You could do whatever you want with it in any style. You don't have to think about it so hard,
What are some of like the topics and themes that are in your zines that they expect to see?
It's really random. So I mainly talk about like my anxiety or like a thought I may have on that day. But I also have like these like little ones where it's just the shit that I love.
Nice.
And it's just like little things that I like coffee, tacos, pizza. Then this one it's about like um, it's called death. I know it sounds really like morbid, right? But it's not. It's me just talking about like how scary it is. Like death is very scary, and especially now. I've known a few people who died of the virus, so I just talk about like it is scary, and so that's why you should kind of like live in the moment and live for now, and just try your best to have a good time and tell everyone that you love them, and then there's these little ones. This is like my smallest. It's so tiny. It's super tiny, yeah. So it's positive affirmations. And I just figured, people kind of need to hear that right now at these crazy times. Yeah. Also, positive affirmations. Yeah.
What pushes you to continue to create zines?
Honestly, it's just me wanting to get out of like my weird anxiety. It's just to sort of overcome that. And also, I don't really have anything to offer anyone but my own confusion. So like how confused I am all the time kind of like pushes me to continue creating, to sort of like understand my own like feelings and my own thoughts. So that's why I create zines, because usually like if I'm thinking about something, I feel like I'm not like really like getting my thoughts out there. But when I get it on paper, like when I actually start writing and I like just write, like things just start to become like more clear for me, and I can see it better, and I can understand myself a little better, and like even the people around me a little better. So that's why I make zines. I mean, honestly, when I make zines, I just sit down and I like grab like magazines or whatever I have at hand, and I just start creating. Like I don't really think about it too hard. I want to get something on paper, and I want to just kind of like understand what I'm feeling and just getting it out there. So I don't know. I sit there and whatever comes out comes out.
What do you think the future of zines is?
Future of zines.
I always ask the hard question.
Yeah, right now it's kind of weird. It's just a very like weird time. Zines are meant to be like kind of like a physical thing that you create yourself and you kind of like hand out to people. But no one's really like, you can't really be meeting up with people or like doing like public things right now. So I don't know. I see that people are like creating like little things on like Instagram and like posting like their zines on PDF on their like blogs and stuff like that. So I don't know. And they're kind of like sharing their stuff, and they're still trying to like sell their stuff online. But I honestly, I don't even know how to answer that question right now.
For years and years, I've always carried a couple in my pocket with me, so that if I'm out and about and I'm just talking with someone random and it comes up in conversation, I can be like, here, you can have this. Go home and read this. And if you don't like it, give it to someone who you think might like it.
Yeah, I used to actually do that when we first made the Weirdo Brigade zine. I would carry a couple of them and I would just leave them in like random places. So like at a coffee shop or the park or like a bar. I just kind of like the idea of someone finding this thing and kind of like reading it and like, I don't know, maybe getting something out of it, or me finding it on Instagram really randomly, you know. I don't know, like when I'm hanging out with like my friends and like my family, sometimes I feel kind of like lonely. And just finding like that zine community on Instagram has really been like helpful, you know. So like when I post something, like first of all, when I'm like, you know, when I make something and I post it up on Instagram, I'm just like, what the heck did I just do? Like, fuck. Like now I'm gonna like, what's gonna happen? Like, what are people gonna think? People are gonna think I'm like weird, or like my feelings are just
Crazy.
like crazy. Yeah. And but no, it's been like the complete opposite. Everyone's been so like sweet. I have people like writing me, like sending me messages telling me like, dude, I totally understand where you're coming from. Like, you're not alone. You know, like your feelings are totally valid. So it's a really awesome community, and I feel less alone, I guess. You know, it's nice.
Like as a zinester, sometimes I feel like I have a double life where, so I've got my real life, like with, you know, and my friends, and then my online zinester friends, and I feel like they get me more,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. Does it, like...
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the times, like I'll just, if I'm really like feeling inspired, I'll just stay home. I'll be like, okay, bye guys, later. I'm just gonna stay home and like work on the zine. I'll see you some other day. We can just talk on the phone. But my friends are pretty cool. They're just like, you know, they've actually written for a lot of like my for the Weirdo Brigade. They've written like poems or like did like drawings or photography for it. So they're pretty cool about it and very supportive. So yeah.
Yeah, I've got people in my life that just have no idea what the hell I'm doing with stuff like that. They're just like, I don't get it. But yeah, like Ryan, it feels like I've just got this double life that, you know, in the morning, this is my life, and then the afternoon, the evening is like this totally different world that I have to that I'm in. But
if I'm like talking to like strangers that I'm meeting for like the first time, like I start a new job and I'm meeting someone at work and they're just like, so what's the most interesting thing about you? I'm like, oh, I make zines. And they're like, what the fuck is a zine? Like, what the hell is that? And I'm just like, oh, you know, it's kind of like a magazine without the mag. It's a zine, you know. And they're just like, so a magazine? Like, yeah, it's very funny. Actually, a lot of people don't.
yeah,
I have all these thoughts
yeah.
that I can like vocalize, and I can never like it. Just when it comes out, it never makes sense. But they do on the page. When I make a zine, it all becomes super like clear, and like, you know, people read it and they get it.
Well, thanks so much for joining us today, Weirdo Brigade. For anyone who hasn't seen her stuff below, the links are all down there. You can check out her Instagram, her blog for sure, and give her zines a good read, guys, because they are pretty friggin' awesome. Thanks again. We'll see you again soon.
Thank you. See you.
And that's where it fades out.